For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Big A Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling, Saratoga Water, by the way, our wonderful sponsor of Talking Horses. We appreciate them, and I appreciate Saratoga Water. I got to get a few cases delivered to my apartment, you know. I got to.
I can't help you with that.
Well, you could.
I can't.
You could.
I'm not a delivery.
I'm not saying you should.
Anymore,
I wasn't
Andy.
suggesting it, but now that you've brought it up.
I'll bring them in if you're going to carry them up. My carrying days are over.
So I'm laughing. I guess Dave Grenick reported a little while ago that risk-taking will not be running in the Peter Pan. He pointed towards the Preakness. I laughed because the one time I didn't say to Chad Brown, do you mind if maybe we break it on the show? He just went and told Dave. I just can't. I get no respect. I'm like Rodney Dangerfield. It's all about me, you know. Anyhow, I think it makes a lot of sense to take a shot there. It's the Preakness is a very, very important race, so we'll down to 5 for tomorrow's Peter Pan. 11 race card tomorrow, actually 5 stakes. Looking forward to Man of War, first grade 1 of the Belmont Park meet, first of many. And how you doing?
I'm good. Looking forward to a fun weekend of racing. Looking forward to the Preakness, obviously.
You're here for the Preakness, though, right? You're not transporting
but no, I'm not going anywhere. I won't be away again until
Mohegan Sun. That's where you were, right?
Mohegan Sun for
not
Breeders'
Foxwoods.
Cup.
Foxwoods didn't call.
Correct.
I tried.
Correct.
I did what I could.
I'll be there for the Breeders'
Anthony's
Cup.
very excited about his tie today, by the way. Greg paid him a compliment on his tie.
Acacia?
He lit up like a Christmas tree.
Acacia. Mom got me
I'll
this.
speak to Acacia. That'll be the end of those compliments.
There's a lot of silks on here. Got the
very
Live Oak,
festive tie.
West Point.
The other thing is you can wipe your face with it and you won't even notice it. You know, it just blends right in.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
That's not a great point. I thought that was whatever.
I don't want to soil Mom's tie with pizza sauce.
I was just pointing it out. Here, have a program.
I could have used this before. I didn't realize I had one down here when I was doing the changes.
There was
Johnny I's on his way, by the way. Don't panic. I'm not calling today.
There were a lot of people hitting the mute button a little bit early.
Johnny I will be
race
here.
number 1 today.
Before race number 1, we have to send you over to Naira Bets.
We do. I apologize.
This guy's chomping at the bit today.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's like the source of the Nile. I want to know why we're advertising Preakness 146 on our Naira Bet
have
site.
no answer for you, my friend.
Well, there isn't one. I want to know what it is, but you know,
I mean, it's Triple Crown time.
Is it,
maybe
they move
after
it here?
this,
Did they move that here?
Maybe they're gonna. I mean, the Kentucky Derby wasn't here either, Andy, and we had Kentucky Derby
But
on
that
there.
was with a promo related to the Derby. This is just match 200, not just.
This isn't get your pre. Never mind.
I don't know if many of you remember when Anthony played Pegasus a number of years down at the Preakness, but he was quite a hit. Use the promo code MATCH200, sign up for Naira Bets, become a member, Sport Racing in New York, keep the money in the game. All those important things. You're playing through Naira Bets. You can sign up for our weekly contest, $300 Saturday live money contest. You have until 5 o'clock today to sign up. And the show will be on until 5:30. We will be on FS1 from 3 to that is incorrect, guys. Bad slate. Please take that slate off. We are on from 3 to 5 on FS1. We are on from 12:30 to 3 on FS2 and 5 to 5:30 on FS2.
He just gave you the old Family Feud X.
It's remarkable.
All that was missing was the X.
Anyhow, I had some thought going through my blurry mind. We good? Race number 1?
Yeah, ready.
There was one certainty in race number 1.
Here we go.
Anthony couldn't lose enough money on Wasp. He's going to now try to lose money on her on a different surface. She might have been the worst 6. I mean, let me just preface that. there are new standards of horrible favorites being set on almost a daily basis. And even though the guy to my left doesn't think Irad Ortiz is getting overbet around here, as he told us yesterday at the end of the show.
Didn't the loose speed horse go off 5-1 yesterday in the feature?
That horse could have been any price. You didn't have him in your top 4, so you probably
I
represent
had those
him.
thord.
You didn't like him. We discussed it. You didn't like him.
5-4-8.
Let's discuss it. You didn't like it. Yeah, I missed it. We're only at 74 lunches, but it'll be soaring. Irad's getting dramatically overbet. Advance notice at 2-5 yesterday might have been about as overbet a bad favorite. Well, no. Jen's battle at 1-2 at Aqueduct. That actually was probably the worst odds-on favorite in the history of horse racing.
That was coming off an ease yesterday, Andy.
The horse at Aqueduct couldn't get a mile and a 16th on a flat bet.
That horse was coming off an ease.
Yeah, doesn't matter. At least that horse had faster figures than these. Jen's battle didn't even have races that won the race.
They shook for that horse yesterday.
Well, Linda Rice got him. Good luck, Linda. That was 2-5, that horse was. So anyhow, but Wasp, she has the record of the most overbet horse that Irad Ortiz only rode once.
Bit to a big win. Yeah, I mean.
At 35 cents the dollar, too.
The reason I went with Wasp in here, besides the fact that I'm a glutton, is I would imagine.
He said it, not me.
I would imagine that Wasp is going to be the controlling speed in here.
Really?
Yeah. I think.
Why is that going to help?
I know 2 cent Tootsie. Well,
speed on the mile and the wide.
I don't know if it's going to help. I'm hoping that getting in front of these horses in the surface switch, one foal to race on the turf one. She's an American Pharaoh.
The horse that won was Magic Fairy, who was a Christophe Clement sprinter.
She also gets her Lasix back.
I've got her second. She's not impossible. You're grasping at straws. She's a massively overrated horse who's really never done a significant amount of running. She might like the turf. You're absolutely right. The problem with her is that she'll be overbet because she has a sort of following. Now, unfortunately for me, I like a horse that Irad Ortiz is on, but I have to pick the horse because it's the right horse in here. I wish Irad wasn't on this horse. Nothing against you, Irad. It's just that you're overbet on every horse you ride. We'll take a look at the race that Giacosa and Pecatonica comes out of, as well as Creasy. And this was opening day at Aqueduct when the rail was gold. And not only was this a preposterously slow pace in here, but I think Eric Cancel actually did a valiant job of being as wide as you possibly could at every point in the race. I mean, it was sort of remarkable. Why didn't he just drop into the rail there? He could have actually dropped into the fence right there. But no, that was the wrong place to be, because when you can be 4 or 5 wide, and we should have showed more of that. So she was wide the whole trip.
Can I ask you this question?
Yeah.
Is there any chance that, because every time you look down at her PPs, she is in a ridiculously wide position. Maybe she can't run inside horses.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I don't believe in that stuff, but okay, if that's your theory, feel free to go with it.
It's not a theory. I mean, some horses don't like to run inside of horses.
I think she'd been fine if she'd gone over the rail on the first turn and gotten outside a little later. She still wouldn't have won because it was a ridiculously slow pace on a biased race course that helped everybody. Giacosa did spend a reasonable portion of the race on the rail, and she's obviously not impossible in here as well. But Creasy's a horse that had one trip after another, been running against better horses. She's in the right spot. Yeah, it's a layoff, but she was claimed in turf season, and they waited this winter to run her. I think Creasy's a logical horse in here. A horse has been very unlucky in her races, but unfortunately with Irad, I probably won't be able to bet her because his horses, they're always a point and a half, 2 points lower than they should be.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Race number 2. So I think the first question about race number 2 is whether Absolute Courage has any ability whatsoever. Source got bet and bet hard first time out with a very expensive pedigree, a very expensive purchase price, excuse me. Look, he may be a better horse the second time, Anthony, and I imagine he's not as bad as a debut, but
he's going to have to be.
He was bad.
He
got a little left, but he did not run at all.
Yeah, he didn't have the cleanest break, I guess it would. I mean, mostly his own doing. I mean, he just didn't pop out of there like you'd like to see.
Firsters get left a lot. He'll probably be more forward today.
He did not do much running after the break.
And the other thing is that Sugar's running this horse back at 6 furlongs. And I understand that maidens, there's not that many options, and sometimes you have to run where you are.
I thought that was a little strange, too.
Well, I don't think I think it says that Sugar probably wants to go shorter, so it's not like you can say, well, he was a prep for a longer race. Yeah. I mean, now, to be fair, I haven't looked at the book. Maiden races have trouble filling around here, and Shug may have said, you know what, this race is coming up. I got to run in here. I won't be surprised when this horse wins, but it's hard to really like this horse after his debut.
Yeah, it's hard because, again, after the break, he did not do much running at all, and, it wasn't a particularly fast race.
The winner's okay.
But I mean, I don't.
The second horse was unlucky. The second horse might have won with a clean
They
trip.
tried the second horse on the turf the other day. I don't think that went
Did they?
well. Yeah.
Why'd they go to the turf after running in the dirt?
I don't know.
He ran so well. God, he'd been a great. I'd have loved him in this spot.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they
then there's
were
Risk Profile, and we'll show him losing last time out. He was claimed from Chad Brown by George Weaver. I don't have a big position on him. I'm just a little sick of this horse. He's supposed to have won this race.
Yeah, these connections have claimed a handful of horses as of late. We mentioned it the last time George had a claimer, and he hadn't claimed a lot of horses. This owner, James Politano, I think it's up to 3 or 4 horses that have been claimed in the last month for him. Took this horse. This horse got to the lead last time in the slop, and gave it up pretty easily to a returning runner for Michelle Nevin. Now back into the special weight competition. I don't know, man. This horse got beat pretty soundly before and after he went to the bench.
He can win.
I mean, he can win.
He's fast enough. You got to recognize something, though. He's got faster speed figures than the horses in this race.
He
so
does,
to
but
deny that he can win
don't you
is
think
silly.
that here's my problem with that is before he went on the layoff, he ran a slower race than anything he had run by 6 or 7
But he came back
points.
and he ran one of his faster races.
But he can't. Okay, hold on. He came back off the layoff and ran worse, and then caught a little bit of slop in the track with his pedigree. He's supposed to like a wet track. He
he's
ran
run
his
wet
biggest
tracks before, and
he ran his biggest figure.
It's 2 points higher than the one before. Let's not get carried
I
away.
would. He can win. He can win, but
Of course he can win. And in some ways, he's arguably the horse to beat because he has faster speed figures. But he's also a horse that has a lot of chances, and he had a lot of chances for Chad Brown. We'll see how George Weaver does for him. Why do you like the 2 primetime player?
Yeah, I had a tough time here just trying to find someone else. Sprinted this horse first time out. Tried the stretch it out the second time. Now he goes right back to the sprint. Rosario going to climb aboard. I just wanted a little bit of an alternative. Trainer changed to Ron Moquette. This horse ran well for Wayne Catalano first time out. Wayne's horses usually don't fire first time out. And the fact that he's coming back to the sprint
He's not a
first
trainer
off is
change. He's a
newborn.
private purchase, Anthony. He's a private purchase.
That's-
There's also, he's not a trainer change. Trainer change implies you switch. This is a private purchase to a new trainer.
Right, but it's a new trainer. But what I'm saying
It's a
is
private
he
purchase. I
ran
think that's
well
important.
for Wayne first time out, and Wayne's horses don't really run that well first time out. And this horse did. And now he finds a spot where this is not the toughest maiden bunch he's ever going to find.
Well, he ran the same Beyer speed figure going long and going short. I think he just showed that maybe, it just depends on the quality of the field. He probably was in a tougher field last time out. So I'm not going to be surprised. I think his last race, there's an argument the race he's in are a little bit better than they look on paper. And he's a new face in a race where I think we're just sick of the other 2 horses. We don't want to take the 5. And it's hard to make another case unless you want to guess with a Wayne Potts first-time starter. And
here's where I think the over bet's going to come into play, because it's kind of hard to make Red Mercury and We Ready. So it leaves us with 4. I think a lot of people are maybe sick of Risk Profiles, what he's done. You got the fresh face, but I do wonder if this horse takes more money than he should today.
who?
Uncle Mo's cat.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he should take a lot of money. Maybe he's good.
Yep.
He's an Uncle Mo. You want to bet a lunch? I could take the 1 against the 3.
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
74.
What was yesterday?
2, and I won.
What was it? Only bet 1 yesterday. I never bet 2.
What?
Only
we
one bet yesterday.
Well, we bet 2, and everybody knows
Yeah?
it. Yeah, you said, oh, yeah, I'll bet 2. Oh, yeah. You
Who
won.
was it?
Who was it? Clement. They ran 1-2. The horse you didn't like that won the mile and 3/8 race. And your horse actually ran okay. He got a good trip, but he ran
My
okay.
horse should have won.
No, the 10 should have won, actually. If the race was running a fair
Well,
manner,
my horse should have beat your
the
horse.
10 would have won. No, I don't know about that. They both had good rail trips. Race number 3. Race number 3, big scratch when Austrian came out. That is a big scratch.
Yeah, I was semi against him today.
You were.
Took a shot against him
Because?
today. Why did I take a shot against him today? He's another one. I feel like he kind of, I don't know, he's had a lot of chances. I know he's been running well for Danny. I like a horse. I like Breadman today. I'm a Breadman fan, as you would imagine. I thought he had a good debut.
You could cut your bread intake. It would probably
I
be a
do.
good idea. Good. Glad to hear it.
I'm 3 pounds away from a milestone.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Let us know when you hit the milestone.
I was hoping to
Hopefully
get there.
sooner than later.
So,
I hope you get
next
there
week.
before I get to 100 in the lunches, because my
Get ready to go-
goal by Belmont Stakes weekend is 100.
It won't happen.
Yes,
Getting ready to go down to full pant size.
really?
Yeah. First time Lasix, second
Glad
off
to
the
hear it.
break. They ran this horse in the Transylvania against Scarlet Sky and Fire at Will last time, and now he comes back up here with the race under his belt. I like the fact that they ran the horse. They obviously had to run the horse without Lasix in the stakes race. Now he gets the Lasix second time off the bench, so you knock the rust off. Johnny V, who was aboard for the maiden, wins back. listen, he lost a lot of his price. I think Austrian would have been favored, and he would have been the second choice.
Agreed.
He's destined to be favored now.
Really? No, he's got him 2-1 morning line, so obviously.
David had him low.
Yeah,
so.
he can win. I scratched him for second. I'm not sure how good he is. I don't think he did any running whatsoever in the Transylvania. I mean, be fair, you're right. It's off a 5.5 month layoff.
He's gonna be 4 lengths to to a Breeders' Cup winner and multiple graded stakes winner.
He didn't do any running whatsoever in the race. The turf racing is a very tricky animal, and you and I have a very different view of it. With a horse, to me, that doesn't have past races to ultimately back it up, I'm not convinced. I have no argument with you. He's absolutely a major player in this race. I'm not going to be against it. I'm not convinced. I'm also not one of these guys that thinks the Lasix matters that much. I think, and I'm not saying that you're, suggesting it's some be-all and end-all. I think something to tell you is okay. I think he could be a little bit forward in this race. I think if you look at him, you look at his last race, he came off of a 14-month layoff. That was a pretty strong field. It was 2 wide in the first turn, 3 wide in the backstretch, 3 to 4 wide in the second turn. That was a race where I know Austrian made a run, but there wasn't a whole lot of movement in that race, and I thought he kept on running. I just thought he was kind of logical, and he wouldn't be as short as the other horse. Obviously, he'll come down as well. But here's the problem with Breadman. If you think Dave was right about the 2-1, now he's going to be even money or 6 to 5.
Yeah, listen,
and so it's like, I'm not
nowhere near as excited with Austrian out of the race. Yeah.
Right. Quiet Out East, I didn't think was impossible. Thought he could be a bit forwardly placed in this race. I know a mile and eighth seems a little far, but sometimes these mile and eighth races on the inner, they play like sprints.
Yeah, when you say forwardly placed, I'm curious to see. I would hope Johnny's aggressive with Breadman. I guess something to tell you can be forward. I would imagine Johnny's going to be on the lead with
Can
Breadman
I bet you
today.
a lunch? I'll take 3 over 1.
Just for a finish?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I want some action. I got to get up to 100. I got work to do. I got a lot of work to do. Hey, one of the many horses I like today that were scratched. Pretty incredible how the scratches find me.
Yeah.
Race number 4. And what?
This horse would have been short today.
Okay, but the horse is scratched.
I know. I like the horse too.
And it ends up being Chase and Bryn. We'll take a look at Chase and Bryn when she was good 2 races back.
Now, she's scratched at least once, right? Maybe twice.
I don't
think
know.
we both picked her one day. And she was
I believe
scratched.
you.
Or Greg and I. Maybe Greg and I picked her one day.
I don't remember her being entered, but that doesn't mean you're wrong.
She was in.
Go ahead.
She was in. Listen, she had a bad race last time out. I'm going to hope to chalk it up to the wet track. I don't like the fact that she is gone almost 3 months after this effort. After having not for nothing, she had a pretty nice winter. She came back from Finger Lakes and she had an easy win, a couple of nice board placings in the starter allowance.
Well, she runs those figures that she ran those 3 races. She's going to win this race.
She's going to win. Now she's cutting back off the mile with 4 mile efforts. I do think she was a little bit better with a little bit more distance. And she's back in for the tag, but I feel like now, especially with Mariano Ginger out, she's probably the one that is faced the best.
David doesn't have her favorite in there.
Basis. Well, he had Mariano Ginger 2-1.
Yeah, but he's got Mama Kin. Mama Kin won't be a shorter price than this
one.
horse.
I wonder if he sees.
Oh, it's Irad. It's Irad.
I mean, he obviously sees the layoff and he sees the cut back in distance. This horse.
Well,
is
the 5 is
form.
Irad. She'd be 8-1 without Irad on her. She has no chance.
The sprint
in this race.
form. Well, Andy, her sprints. 2 of her races are faster than Jason Bryn's sprints.
Oof, she beat you and I in a bunch of horseshoes.
I'm not saying you're wrong about
no
that.
Shot in here.
I'm not saying you're wrong about that. I'm saying that.
I look forward to betting against her with that IRAD money.
I mean, you don't even have Chase and Bryn on top. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of confidence in that. This went from a race where I was a pretty heavy lean on Mariano Ginger to I think you got to spread a little bit now.
I thought it was 3-6-7. We'll see. Mary and Ginger had her questions, too, and she scratched. So, I don't know, probably a vet scratch. I doubt Jeremiah scratched her to run the other horse. He entered them both. As far as Bristol Vixen, we'll take a look at her last race. Just hoping she can get back to her better efforts off the claim for Wayne Potts. That's all. She's got that one big figure back in January. This was a sloppy track. She obviously dominated much lesser horses, though Choose Happiness could come back and improve her buyer speed, figured 9 points in her next start. So might have been a little bit better than it looks. And I just don't trust Chase and Bryn. I'm going to disagree with David. I think that Chase and Bryn will be a shorter price than this horse. I don't see how. I mean, you got Hector Diaz. No knock on Hector, but he's not going to take a lot of money. I'd be very surprised if Chase and Bryn is a bigger price than Bristol Vixen, I prefer Chase and Bryn. I don't believe that's going to be the case.
Okay.
I picked her because I thought she'd be a bigger price than Jeremiah's 2 horses, and I obviously don't think Mama Kin is a prayer.
Okay. I'm not. I don't know. With Mariano Ginger out, I don't know how this race is going to.
No, that's
play
fair.
out on the tote board or on the
it's not like
racetrack.
David has them at significantly different prices.
Right.
I'm not. Mia Beer Star. I thought Mia Beer Star's cutting back wasn't impossible.
Yeah, that's the problem in this race, right? Chase and Bryn's cutting back. Mia Be a Star cutting back. Bristol Vixen cutting back. They're all cutting back. And
But that's good, right?
I mean, I guess they were all better going the mile.
Are they? I don't know what they are.
That's what the paper says.
Yeah, I don't agree with that stuff. That's stuff you and I just on a completely different planet on. I can't imagine that they'll be compromised by going 6.5 furlongs. I didn't look at the pace because there was an entry. Race number 5. I'll take a break after race number 5. I was really geared up to bet Maryland Merlot. I really was. So extremely disappointing.
You're not even
scratch.
really a wine guy.
Yeah, I really like this horse today, actually. That was a very, very interesting horse to bet on here. We scratch into Orma. Why don't you talk about Orma?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
have no
Orma's off
interest at all anymore.
Off the September layoff, cutting.
I would have picked the race differently if I knew that the 8 was going to scratch completely differently.
Listen, this was a race where I had a tough time with this race.
So why do you like this horse?
I went to Orma with the race under a belt off the long break. There was not much to say. The barn has good short numbers, 3 for 8 the last 15 months with these types. I don't really have a lot of confidence in anyone else.
With what types?
With the second off the break, second off the long, almost 6 months. That was it. I didn't have a lot to say. I want to use the 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I'm really curious how many of those horses were at Saratoga that won. I think that's an important thing because the Bond Barn has had a history of doing much better at Saratoga than they do at Belmont Park in the spring and summer. And you almost wonder sometimes if it's beat by design. And I would guess if you look those numbers up, she actually has a little bit of turf pedigree. And if you look at her last race, I don't think she ran that badly in there, chasing the pace on the outside. And I thought she was kind of interesting second off a layoff. I don't particularly like her in here. I just didn't particularly like any of the others. I mean, I'm not thrilled with Proper Grammar, who I end up as my third choice in this race. This is really not much of a turf pedigree. It's a first foal, Madame, who not really turf at all. It's Lauban. The second one is not really much turf. And Christophe has very good numbers with first-time stars going 5 to 6 furlongs on the turf. But those are mostly maiden specials. For what it's worth, he's 0 for 3 in maiden claiming races. Now, obviously, that's a small sample size. But you take the maiden claiming races out, and he's 11 for 42 with maiden special weights. So it seems that when he regards them, they run much better. And he runs so few in maiden claiming races, it's just not really a good sign. And given the pedigree, there's really not a lot to speak about. Little Miss Scarlet's a little bit interesting. There isn't a lot of turf pedigree on this horse, but I thought she was kind of interested in the turf and worth taking a shot.
That's the problem with some of they try to find somebody else in the air. Cazilda 40 Tails, who David has, favored on the morning line.
Well, it's Irad Ortiz.
Second choice.
He's a favorite on almost everything he rides.
Dan was 0 for 4 on the turf. She's a 40 Tails. There's not a lot of turf influence there.
No, I agree.
Little Miss Scarlet, right? The mare never ran on the turf. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, because 40 Tails of Dan was over 4 on the turf. She got a 62 buyer. Her one foal that ran on the turf is the second foal. She ran a 63 on the turf and a 72 on the dirt, so there's not much confidence. But one thing about Gazilda 40 Tails, she is the controlling speed, for better or for worse, in this race. She's fast, and Irad has to go in here. I mean, I looked through the race. That's why I thought that, Decreed for Brad Cox, maiden claiming first-time stars turf, 5 to 6.5 furlongs, 0 for 4. He was second once at Belmont, though. But it's a dirt pedigree, and it feels like he's just chucking this as a turf because he doesn't really know what to do with the horse. And it's Brad Cox. The horse will take money, and I don't have any reason to believe this horse is going to do any running.
2 siblings 0 for 2 on the grass.
Right.
Jimmy Creed, nothing. I mean,
well, Jimmy Creed's got some turf.
Yeah, I mean, it's right, but you're not running to you're not running to Naira Bets to bet on these horses on the turf.
I don't have to run. I got it right here.
It's a very weird.
No running to Naira Bets. Right weird. Here on the phone.
I'm going to use a Docker a little bit at a huge price, getting Luzzy. I'm hoping he just sits off of Cazilda 40 Tails and maybe can make up some ground. Her 2 turf figures. I mean, this isn't the 86 Breeders' Cup Mile.
It's Ed Barker. You got to give Ed a little love. I mean,
those are going to be $1 million to 1.
I'm not going to knock any horse in this race whatsoever. You want to bet on any? You want to bet on the Great Houdini? Go have at it. I don't disagree. This race is throw them against the wall, and someone's going to hit first. That's why I wanted to bet on a silly horse like this, the 8. I mean, that's my whole point.
Right.
I find that race, and I find a horse I want to take, and the horse is scratched. It's just annoying. I don't care if the horse ran 8th. I wanted an opportunity to lose a few dollars in this horse.
Right.
I agree.
That's
I scratched into a horse that,
12,
like you,
to 1.
I can't sit here and make a particularly strong case for, but hasn't run that badly in the turf, and I don't have a lot of hope in here.
The race off the layoff and comes back to a decent race.
The problem with Orma is, if any of these horses, whether it's Clement's Firster or the one, run the turf a little bit, they're probably going to beat her. That's the thing, and there's so many of those possibilities.
But there's so many question marks with
But
those
there's so
horses.
many of those possibilities that it doesn't seem overly unlikely that it's going to happen. What do we have to? We have until the clock says 40, right? Is that how it works? It's 20 after.
Correct.
Oh, so we have 20.
Correct,
yes.
sir.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be back.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses, presented by our good friends at Saratoga Water. There you have it. We need another bottle.
I don't know where it went.
Well, you could
I'll
take
bring
a
it down.
trip up to the top and come say hi someday.
I know where it went, man.
Didn't I drink one? May have been that I drank
Did you finish it?
I didn't finish it, but maybe.
All right.
Maybe it just walked off in the middle of the night. Race number 6.
Whatevs.
Race number 6. Let's start with our favorite horse. You've got Warfront Fighter second.
I do.
You should. Seriously, I'm going to bring my dunce cap down next time you do something like this and
Thing's
make you
not
sit in the
fitting on
corner
my head.
wearing this. Yeah, you're right about that. You make a great point. This horse, this horse has lost more races that he couldn't lose on paper than maybe any horse I've seen since Jacques Hu.
This was amazing.
I know he gets Irad Ortiz, so everyone's going to go hog wild. Irad Ortiz is now right. It's not Eric Cancel's fault that this horse doesn't want to win races and he runs to his competition. I loathe this horse.
It's a strong word,
Anthony.
Man.
And here's the other thing, Anthony.
You realize we both took shots against this horse last time and still couldn't find a winner in a 5-horse.
Winner? I wasn't close.
We were
My
last.
horse is in
We were
Aqueduct right
last.
now at the 16th
Is he
ball,
in
right?
here? Yeah, there he is, Jailbreaker.
But
Did we both try Jailbreaker?
No, I tried somebody else that ran worse.
I ran last. No, you couldn't run worse. I ran last.
Maybe I ran 4th.
Okay.
Maybe I tried Jailbreaker. No, I think I tried somebody else, and he must have been 4th. Yeah. We locked up the super exacta. The problem is with him that this race is full of new shooters, okay? Frankly, it's full of new shooters. The 1, the 2, the 3. They're all new shooters in this race. Well, you left out the hot barn, David Donk. You left that sizzling hot David Donk barn out. You want to revisit that conversation from yesterday?
No, I don't.
Anyway, if you have any self-respect, you're betting against Warfront Fighter. And if you have any self-respect, you didn't put him in your top 2. You obviously
I have
don't
plenty of self-respect.
Not enough.
Not
enough, Anthony.
Listen, I don't trust some.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
It does. The point to me is you put the 1, 2, 3 in some order. Those are the
That's
3
your
horses.
opinion.
And it's the right opinion.
It's not the right
because
opinion.
one of them is going to beat this horse. Maybe 2, maybe all 3, but certainly 1 is, and I think you want to use all of them because this is a horse, the 7, that I would leave out of my tickets.
But
he wins, I lose.
You're
Anthony.
acting like these
what?
horses. All right, and Shadow Boat probably doesn't fall into the category as much as 16 Tons and Maddie's Marauder do.
Maddie's Marauder lost to killers in both of his turf races. Killers in both of his dirt races. Dirt killers. I'm a Pharaoh. Dreams of Tomorrow. The horses he ran with would be 1 to 9 in this field.
Okay.
1 to 9. Do I love him? No, I picked him 3rd. Let's look at 16 Tons, and what do you get? We'll go back to that fateful day on February 15th, 2000, when he finished 3rd to Patrol and 12th Man, his last dirt race. What do I think? I think he got an old Prepperoonie last time out, 100 behind the field, partly because the rider seems to lose position in turf sprints every time, and actually made a little run, but the race was collapsing at the end, but did show up, got that Prepperoonie, and 16 Tons, you've got on top, and I've got second. Seems logical, right?
Yeah. Almost too logical. Almost too logical. See, I'm not as thrilled with Shadow Boat, and Shadow Boat's dressed up with Westwell Power and Happy Saver in his PPs.
Why is he dressed up with them? They're better
because
horses.
he didn't do any running.
Well, that's not wholly true. He actually did. He actually had speed in those races. Comes off a layoff. I think Shadow Boat and 16 tons. I just thought he'd be a slightly better price. I'm not sure I agree with David. I don't know if Shadow Boat's going to be favored in here. I like.
You don't think Shadow Boat's going to be the favorite in this race?
No, I don't. No, I think IRAD will be favored. They can't resist the source. Can't sell to IRAD. They're rubbing their hands.
You win. I'll tell you right now. You could. I will never say a word to you again if the 7's favored over the 1 about that.
They're 5-2 and 2-1 on the line there, big boy.
Yeah, I just think Shadow Boat will be.
Is Mattress Mac bidding $2 million on Shadow Boat?
I think 2.4. I think people like you,
because that's what it took for Essential Quality to be a dime below 3-1.
I don't know. I think like you. I think people. I think people is kind of sick of Warfront Friday. I know what you're talking
I would agree. I would
but
totally agree with you. But when horses like Advance Notice go up at 2-5, I'm perplexed. I don't disagree with you. I think the 1-2 should both be shorter prices than Warfront Fighter.
Then there's no shot that both.
I mean, probably if I'd looked at the morning line, I'd have stuck Maddie's Marauder on top at 10-1. Because I don't think there's that significant a chance that he's less likely to win than either one or two.
If you're going to take a chance, if you're going to take,
right.
if you really
my
don't
picks
like,
in this race would be 3-1-2 or 3-2-1 if I had looked at the morning line.
Yeah, 16 tons will be the best price of the 3 favorites. I
don't have any strong feeling about it. Nothing would surprise me, but I think the only opinion you have to have in this race is to bet against the 7 Warfront Fighter. He's just ridiculous. If he wins, you know what? I want to lose when he wins. Race number 7. I don't have that much smart to say in this race, you know? I don't like to pick these IRAD horses as we look at Ocean Air. Take a look at him winning last time for Clement. I just think he's better than these horses.
Yeah, he certainly looked like the kind of horse that the best top was the drop and just finding his friends in the maiden claiming ranks.
The right spot for Christophe and a logical horse. I mean, yeah, my lips are sealed. I bet you were a big Go-Go's fan. You probably have like a Belinda Carlisle poster somewhere in that.
I had a crush
in that
on
hovel.
I had a crush on.
I knew it. I knew it. Did you watch the Go-Go's documentary on Showtime? It's good. You should watch it.
I was a Go-Go's fan.
It's not to like.
Absolutely.
My lips are sealed. It's a great song. Better the song than the horse. How confident are you that Eric will be loose when My Lips Are Sealed? Supposed to be loose, right?
Supposed to be gone.
Right? Supposed to be. And the 4 and 7 are the right 2 horses. I mean, Rosie Holiday is the interesting horse, a half to fair point. The other 2 turf horses didn't run on the turf. But there is a little bit of pedigree if you look, in there. Fairpoint was okay. I don't think that horse is impossible. The Rosie Holiday, I'll use her as well. I thought about putting her on top. She's a little too wise guy for me. But 4, 7, and 9 for me. What did I miss about
I went to my man Stevie
age?
K. I tell you what, these are horses that ordinarily don't pick 0 for 9 on the turf.
That would be Steve Clarcero.
I was getting into
he
it.
isn't your man, and you don't call him Stevie K. Is he like the guy in the Kafka book?
People have been calling him
Joseph
Stevie
K?
for 100 years.
Is he related to the Kafka guy?
No, I don't think so. Anyway, this horse to me, I think this horse knows how to read the form. I think she knows how to read the form. Every time she runs in claiming races, she is a better achiever. Might not be the it might not be the fastest races, but more of they are for the most part. When she runs in the claiming races, she's more competitive than she is against the special weights and the allowance types, and she finds herself in this starter race here. Listen, My Lips Are Sealed is supposed to be loose on the front end. She's supposed to be gone on the front end. And she ran against arguably better horses last time. Candy Flower's been okay. She's been a check getter down there. She's, she was in a maiden claimant. She broke a maiden for a tag, but she was a horse that was somewhat competitive in special weight races. She's supposed to be gone, and Ocean Air makes sense. I just wanted a little bit of an alternative to the 2.
Steve Laceras has fabulous numbers on trainer switches on the turf, in case you didn't look it up.
I didn't look it up.
He's 1 for 36.
Okay.
He's 1 for 36 off trainer switches on the turf. He's getting this horse from Phil D'Amato, with all due respect to Stevie K.
Well, he's friends with Phil.
Stevie K. Okay, he may be taking the horse over for him because Phil isn't stabled here, but he has been in New York since April.
Right.
He's got bad numbers off trainer switches. He's 1 for 23, 23-cent ROI. 7 of them hit the board. We'll see. I got him 4th. Obviously, there's not a lot of options in this race, but I'm skeptical. I just didn't think he was good enough.
I just want to point out that the guy who picks on me for picking horses off wins and picking Irad Ortiz Jr. is picking a horse at 9 to 5 on the morning line.
As I've stated many times, I try to beat these IRAD horses, and if I can't make a strong case against them,
you think this is one that justifies a selection?
Yeah, I think she's a very likely winner this race.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she's a very likely winner of this
Okay.
race. Obviously, I do. It's not picking on you, Anthony. It's actually a thought I have that
Pointing
you
it
don't
out.
think about. But it's something you don't think about.
Pointing it
you
out.
picked that silly horse in the last race that I rode that was 4-1 that just can't run at all. And that's the kind of horse you have to avoid. Horses like that. This horse is the horse to beat in this race, whether Irad's riding him or not. I'd prefer Irad wasn't riding any horse I want to pick in races because he takes way too much money. I don't disagree. And I thought long and hard about picking against this horse. And
You
I probably
really feel
could have
that way?
done.
You don't want a guy who's arguably the best rider not riding your horses?
Joel Rosario, you think he'll be in the Hall of Fame? Let me just
I
have this
love Joel Rosario.
Do you think he'll be in the Hall of Fame?
No question.
Jose Ortiz, you think he'll be in the Hall of Fame?
In all likelihood, yes.
Javier Castellanos in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Junior Alvarado, a great rider, doesn't have the credentials to make the Hall of Fame, but he's a very great rider. Jose Lozcano doesn't have the credentials to the Hall of Fame. He's a very sensational rider. Luis Saez, you think he'll be in the Hall of Fame? John Velasquez. There are more guys in that room that are Hall of Fame riders. Irad Ortiz is a great rider. I don't deny it at all. But he's not much better than most of the guys in the room, and his horses are getting bet like he's riding at Canterbury Downs or something. I mean, it's absurd. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. Well, you actually think I'm wrong.
I think there's a medium between the people that don't think it matters at all and between the guys who think it's the...
Advance notice was 2-5 yesterday. The horse you liked the last race who couldn't beat you and I in a horse suit was 4-1. He's getting dramatically
Advance
overbet.
notice and Jen's Battle are the two best.
But no, it's all the time. You're just not paying enough attention. Anyhow, race number 8. We will take a look at the 3 shows. She Throws Heat, What Does a Shark Say race, where She Throws Heat ran 2nd, and What Does a Shark Say ran 4th. I actually think that She Throws Heat is one of these tough horses to ride because she ends up making premature moves or she takes herself out of races. And, I know that What Does Shark Say may not have been thrilled being down on the inside, but she didn't finish at all. And I actually thought she got a terrific ride by Paco Lopez in this race. I guess there was to beat, but I think like you, I just want somebody else.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
She's a horse to beat, but...
Yeah, she's kind of... She looks like one of those horses that's just really tough to handle, and I wanted to take a little bit of a shot against her. I would imagine.
The horse we picked is going to be favored, in all likelihood, isn't she? She just ran against much better horses last time. I mean, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of the 5. She just looks like...
Kane the Coil.
Kane the Coil?
Kane the Coil.
It wasn't that hard. What does it mean?
Maggie told me the other day.
Maggie speaks Gaelic now?
Maggie
She's
checked for Johnny I and I.
Should I look it up?
This horse was Wood Memorial Day? Yes. She ran Wood Memorial Day.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, we checked it. I don't remember what it was.
She didn't run great in that race. She didn't do a whole lot of running, but they are better horses. Second off a layoff, stretching out, she's supposed to be better longer.
Isn't she supposed to be in front? This What Does a Shark Say inherits these easy leads.
Right, but I will tell you something. You are correct. But I'll tell you, if I was riding What Does a Shark Say, I'd be in front.
Oh,
now, if I was riding her, she'd be 150,000 to 1. and I'd probably lose an iron coming out of the gate and fall off about 10 yards later, but I would at least try to get her to the front. And Jose Lozcano's pretty good at that.
He is. He's good at doling out the speed, too. So maybe
very good at putting
maybe he
horses
opens
in the
3
lead
on
in
the
baseless
field
races.
and just tries to bottom him out. I
don't
can't
think
imagine
Junior. Let's not get carried away.
I can't imagine Junior's going to let him get that far. Let her get that far away.
I can't imagine that. I can't even imagine that somebody letting a horse get away with a slow pace in a turf route. It just never happens. So how can I possibly imagine it? Of course you could imagine it happening.
No.
Ridiculous.
That's
the silliest thing you've ever said.
I can't imagine she's going to let her open 3.
You're the one who came up with the 3 and bottom out the field. No sane person was thinking that.
She's faster.
The 5 is faster. I don't disagree, but I would say if there's an intention to ride anybody to lead, they'll be in front. Now, you're the one who came up with the 3 and bottom out the field, 2 things I completely disagree with. No, I don't agree with that, but okay. Problem is she's had a lot of chances, and she's tried to go to the front and not done well.
She's tried to do that.
And that's why they won't like it, but she doesn't win from behind either. What's your story on Dragon Tea?
I don't have
Law Dragon Tea. Is Dragon Tea a word?
Dragon Tea's
What is it?
It's a tea.
There's a Dragon Tea?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I drink tea. I've never heard of Dragon Tea. I believe you. How much tea do you drink?
I drink a lot of iced tea. I've been drinking a lot of unsweetened iced tea.
That's good.
Yeah.
I never understood why they made sweetened iced tea to begin with.
Sweet tea's very big in the South, Andy. It's a big drink.
Well,
People
you're a
love
big
this
Southern
too.
guy. Much time you spent in the South?
I listened to a lot of Bubba Sparks in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's
Well,
about
I
the
don't know
closest
Bubba
I get.
Sparks
No, I didn't
is.
think you would. That would be
Is there a
closest.
horse, Bubba Sparks?
No, he was a rapper in the late
Yeah, I
90s.
don't listen to a lot of rap.
Yeah, no.
Hard as it is to believe.
I didn't put you on a Bubba Sparks guy.
I've been in Mississippi. I've been in Alabama. Spent a lot of time in Kentucky. Practically
Arkansas.
Southern. Spent very little time.
Tennessee.
Not a lot of time in Mississippi either.
Tennessee.
Drove through it. Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I saw the Dead in Memphis. I saw the Dead in Alabama. I've flown into Memphis when I go to Arkansas. That's about it.
I've been to
Graceland.
I counted this the other day. I've been to 20 states. Not bad for a guy who's never been on a plane. It's a lot of
That's
states.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You should go to Graceland. Graceland's one of the greatest things.
Okay.
Graceland's tremendous. All right.
We had this
I-
walking.
as far
we
as
had
what-
this walking in Memphis conversation. You know, the
La,
song.
La Dragon Tea.
La Dragon. Listen, I
not a
don't
turf
really.
horse.
I don't really like the.
She's not a turf horse.
I know.
I mean, isn't it a problem that she's not a turf horse? Turf races are not good. I didn't like her. I thought if you look her up and you look up her races in Europe, she's kind of weak. Race number 9. Number 9. Let's go back in the time machine to June 25th of 2020 and take a look at Quantitative Reason. Not the kind of horse I like to jump on.
No, this is not you at all.
I just think she's better than these horses.
Horse that was third this day, Frenchie Frou Frou broke her maiden for the bottom at Oaklawn in the dirt this winter.
There you go.
Came back and won
She beat her by 4 lengths.
a condition claiming race.
And then she
yeah.
ran her next start, and she ran against a zillion times better horses than she's running against here.
This is one of the first of
I like
3
Barney.
amazing trips for Saratoga Love to win last year.
Christophe Clement is is living right, given some of the trips he's gotten, and that horse may have been one of the all-time great
Yeah.
trips. Oh, you went back to the Hot Barn.
I haven't seen her for a month. I haven't seen her for 8 months.
Have you been looking for her?
Quantitative Reasoning? No.
Well, you said you hadn't seen her, so I thought
We
you were
haven't
looking.
seen her. The royal man. Haven't seen her for 8 months.
So you went back to
9
the
months.
Hot Barn.
I went back to Mondoose, second
Hot
off
Barn.
the layoff, coming back quick. I like when Dave
Sizzling
runs
Dave
those
Donk
back
Barn.
quick. Picks up my man John Velasquez, otherwise known as Johnny V, kind of
was
along the same lines as Stevie K.
Awful last time.
Yeah, the horse probably needed the race off those 5.5 months.
This horse was awful last time.
Comes right back.
What I will say, the only reason I would give this horse a little bit of an uptick off that dreadful performance is that turf was not firm. That turf was yielding. So maybe the horse didn't really handle the go. But this horse did absolutely no running. Sport Model, who slipped, and I'm glad to see him back. And, of course, it's nice to have Junior back as well.
Junior's not riding this horse. Trevor McCarthy is.
I don't blame Junior for not riding him. I don't like the way this horse was traveling. Now, maybe she had trouble with the surface as well, but I didn't like the way this horse was traveling before she clipped the heels. It felt like she was getting ready to back to the field.
Okay.
I didn't really like her in there. The 9, Bertinga, maybe for Jimmy Bond, cutting back will help.
Cutting back, dropping down. First
Not a
time
great
Lasix,
move for them.
off the layoff.
What do you do with horses like
Luis Saez.
I've got Scott Alea in there a little bit, trying the turf for the first time. Dam's a multiple winner on the turf. She's produced a turf winner.
Yep.
Thought I would throw that horse
Entered
in.
on turf last time.
I wish Esotica had some turf pedigree, though there is a second Dam, and Esotica has some turf pedigree.
Esotica figures to be forward. She moves her dirt
She
speed.
should be the speed.
Moves her dirt speed to
She's
the
got
turf.
IRAD,
She should
so
be
I
the speed.
can't take
She should
IRAD.
be the speed. This is guessing game's the wrong word, but there are some.
The weirdo here is 12, called me Carmelita, who was my infamous 5th pick, who had a big wide trip last time and didn't have a chance. Unfortunately for her, she draws
The
outside
wide trip
again.
took money last time too. She was under
She's got
7.
a real
Just under
pedigree.
7-1. Yeah,
Well, she's got pedigree in the Dam side, but it's my lucky day.
it's my lucky days.
Who it's my lucky day beating the Woodward?
Wow.
Who trained It's My Lucky Day?
Eddie Pleaser Jr.
There you go.
Oh,
Nobody better
man.
than you at
This
coming up
was
with those.
14. Was that 14?
I don't know. No? Beat the winner of the Whitney.
Who was that?
Well, I was trying to give you hints to help you out.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
That wasn't the name of the horse. I don't recall. Who was it?
He wasn't. I don't recall. Moreno.
On that note,
On that note,
Head over to Naira
head over
Bets.
to Naira Bets. You make a great point. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, NairaBets.com. Get your pre-con.
Get your pre-con, folks.
Get your pre-con for Naira Bets.
Don't talk derby to me. Get your pre-con.
Get all preeked up. Use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match to $200 your initial deposit. You'll become a member of Naira Bets. You'll be in an exclusive club that includes the two jerks sitting up here. Keep that money in the game, though. I say that, but I don't think there's anything more important than keeping the money in the game. It's not a game that can afford to be taking money out and giving to investors. And Naira Bets will keep the money and reinvest it in the game. Member Naira Bets, you can play the contest. $300 every Saturday. You have until 5 o'clock today. We will not put up that slate unless we have a corrected one, but just to let you know, 12:30 to 5:30 today, 12:30 to 3 on FS2, 3 to 5 on FS1, 5 to 5:30 to close it out. I'll be on late with my buddy Greg Wolf. I believe that will mean Acacia and Mig are on the early half. What are you doing? You taking Pete out for
Weekend Stakes preview? No, Mom's Mother's Day Sunday.
What are you doing for Mother's Day for Mom?
She hasn't given me the. We haven't hung the official sign up yet. I don't know.
She's probably dying to come here.
We'll hit Orchid one of the 2 days, Sunday or Monday, and then she's a big mini golf. She loves playing mini golf.
You and I still haven't played mini
We'll
golf.
do it this summer. Things will be a little different
we'll
this summer.
see.
Play a little mini golf, probably a little Monopoly at some point, a little Scrabble. Wow. She's been trying to beat me.
You're probably good at Scrabble.
I'm excellent at Scrabble.
Yeah. Seems like that might be something.
That
might be one of the few things you're actually good at.
I'm a great Scrabble player. Scrabble, Whack-A-Mole.
What's Whack-A-Mole?
The game at the carnival where you have the 5 holes and the mole comes up. You got to hit it with the mallet.
Never seen
I'm
that.
undefeated.
Really? Never seen that.
I'm the greatest Whack-A-Mole player to ever live. We could play Whack-A-Mole for money. I'd be the richest person on the planet.
Yeah, I'm going to say
we
no.
can't.
I'm going to say no, but
I'm telling you. I can't tell you the last time I lost a Whack-A-Mole game.
You know what?
20 years.
You think you should just keep this in mind. Melinda Gates is going to be available soon. I'm just pointing it out in case you're.
I'm good.
Since you're putting your mind on being the richest person on the planet.
I would love to play her Scrabble or Whack-A-Mole for any number.
Who wouldn't love the Big A? We're done. Who's doing the reprise? You or Johnny?
Johnny I's here.
Good news.
Just got
Johnny
the
I's
text.
back. He'll be doing the reprise, the scratch and change. You don't have to listen to this jerk anymore. We'll see you tomorrow.